Everyone has faced that point where giving up feels like the only option. The weight on your shoulders seems unbearable, and your strength feels like it's slipping away. You've tried everything, plans, efforts, even sheer will, but nothing seems to change. It's in these moments when you're at the edge that a question begins to form. How much longer can I hold on? It's not just a physical exhaustion, but something deeper, like your spirit is running on empty. The voices of doubt grow louder, telling you to quit, to stop trying, to let go of the dream or goal you've held on to for so long. But right there, in that exact moment, something shifts. A reminder whispers through the chaos. You're not in this fight alone. It's not a loud declaration, but it cuts through the noise like a light breaking into the darkest night. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. These aren't just words. They're a lifeline. They remind you that your strength doesn't have to come from within. It comes from a power far greater than anything this world can offer. And as that truth begins to sink in, a new realization emerges. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of a turning point, where weakness becomes the foundation for something far stronger. Because when you lean on God, even the moments that feel like breaking points can transform into breakthroughs. At this very moment, something begins to shift inside you. It's not about forcing more effort or trying harder, it's about surrendering. Surrendering to the fact that you don't have to carry the burden alone. This is where true strength comes from. Not in holding on tighter, but in releasing control and trusting in the one who's been carrying you all along. Philippians 4:13 isn't a promise that everything will be easy or that you'll always feel strong. It's a reminder that even when you feel weak, you are never without power. Christ's strength becomes your strength, and that's an unshakable foundation to stand on. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to know how things will work out. What matters is that you know who is with you in this moment. When you stop fighting against the current, when you stop trying to do everything by your own strength, that's when the real transformation begins. It's counterintuitive. The world tells you to push through, to be strong, to never show weakness. But God says, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. This rest isn't about inactivity. It's about finding peace in His strength, knowing that you are not in control, but He is. And with that peace, something incredible happens. Your energy is renewed, your perspective shifts, and you are ready to keep going, not because of your own will, but because of His power working within you. The very thing you thought would break you, it becomes the thing that strengthens you. As you release your burdens, something incredible starts to happen. Your strength begins to be renewed. It's like a fresh wind filling your lungs, giving you the courage to take one more step. The heaviness starts to lift, and suddenly, you realize that you're no longer fighting alone. You are empowered in a way that you couldn't have imagined before. The verse from Philippians 4:13 isn't just a statement, it's an experience. When you trust in God's power, He renews your spirit, enabling you to rise up and face challenges you thought were impossible. What once seemed overwhelming now feels like a stepping stone, something you can overcome with His strength. This renewal doesn't just happen once. It's a continuous flow of strength that fuels you, not just physically but emotionally and spiritually. It's the kind of strength that allows you to persevere through trials, to stay focused when distractions arise, and to keep going even when you don't feel like it. And in those moments when you feel like you've reached the end of your capacity, God's strength is there to fill in the gaps. He doesn't promise a life free from struggles, but He does promise to give you the strength you need to endure them. You aren't being asked to do it all on your own. So when you feel weary, when your energy is running low, remember that God's strength is never exhausted. It's limitless, and it's available to you at any time. All you have to do is lean into Him, trust in His power, and watch as your strength is renewed over and over again. As your strength is renewed, something even more powerful begins to emerge, a sense of victory. Not just a temporary triumph, but a deep, lasting victory that can only come from God. It's the kind of victory that doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you. You become more resilient, more focused, and more determined than ever before. When you understand that your strength is drawn from the Creator of the universe, you realize that there's no challenge too great. Philippians 4:13 reminds you that you can do all things through Christ. This isn't about self-sufficiency, it's about divine empowerment. And this empowerment doesn't just help you survive, it helps you thrive. With renewed strength and a fresh perspective, you begin to see opportunities instead of obstacles. The situations that once seemed impossible to overcome now appear as stepping stones to greater growth. And through it all, you know that God is guiding you, strengthening you, and leading you toward a victory that was written just for you. Victory in this context isn't always about outward success. Sometimes it's about finding peace in the middle of chaos, about learning to stand firm even when the world around you feels unstable. It's about knowing that no matter what, you are not defined by your struggles but by the power of God working through you. This victory is yours, not because of what you can do alone, but because of who you are with. You are never alone in this. With God's strength, victory is not just a distant hope. It's a reality that begins right now. With victory in sight, you now find yourself with the power to keep moving forward, no matter the obstacles. The strength you receive from God isn't just for the moment, it's for the long haul. It equips you to keep going when others would stop, to push through when everything in you wants to give up. There are moments in life when the path seems long and the finish line feels out of reach, but that's when you lean into His strength even more. God doesn't promise that you won't face difficulties. He promises that you'll have the strength to face them. Philippians 4:13 is a declaration that you will not be defeated. No matter how hard it gets, His power is greater. This strength isn't something you have to wait for, it's already within you, waiting to be tapped into. Every time you choose to rely on God's power, you gain a little more momentum. The more you move forward in His strength, the more you'll find that the impossible becomes possible, and the struggles begin to feel less overwhelming. As you continue walking, there's a growing sense of confidence, because you know you're not alone. God's presence goes with you every step of the way, empowering you to keep going. It's not about being perfect or having all the answers, but about trusting in the one who has already paved the way for you. When you face the next challenge, remember, it's not about how strong you are. It's about how strong He is in you. With His strength, you can keep moving forward, and you'll discover that with every step, you're becoming more than a conqueror. As you continue forward, something remarkable happens. You begin to experience peace like never before. It's a peace that isn't based on your circumstances, but on the unwavering presence of God's strength in your life. It's the kind of peace that calms your anxious heart and steadies your mind, even in the most turbulent moments. This peace doesn't mean the absence of challenges. It means the confidence that you can face them, knowing that you are supported by a power far greater than any fear or difficulty. Philippians 4:13 is a reminder that with God's strength you can remain grounded, no matter how chaotic the world around you becomes. You find comfort in the truth that your strength comes from a source that is eternal and unshakable. The more you lean on His strength, the more you discover that peace isn't a fleeting feeling. It becomes a deep-rooted foundation within you. It's not about escaping the storms of life, but about knowing that no matter what happens, God is with you, and His strength will carry you through. This peace empowers you to face anything with courage, knowing that His power is more than enough. Even when you don't have all the answers or can't see the way ahead, peace fills the gaps. It's the peace that allows you to rest knowing that God is working on your behalf. His strength is the assurance that you don't have to do it all on your own. The path may still be difficult, but His peace makes the journey lighter. In this peace, you find not only comfort, but a deeper connection to the one who strengthens you. His presence brings calm to your heart and clarity to your mind. And with each passing day, you are reminded that with God's strength, peace is not only possible, it is inevitable. As you continue to walk in God's strength, a beautiful transformation takes place. You begin to embrace your purpose with greater confidence. The doubts and insecurities that once held you back start to fade, replaced by a deep assurance that you are exactly where you need to be. Philippians 4:13 isn't just about facing struggles. It's about thriving in your purpose, knowing that God has equipped you for what lies ahead. With each step forward, you feel more aligned with your calling. You realize that God has a plan for your life, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can derail it. His strength doesn't just give you the ability to endure, it gives you the confidence to pursue what He has set before you. Whether it's your career, your relationships, or your personal growth, you can face it all with the assurance that God's strength will empower you every step of the way. This confidence doesn't come from your own abilities, but from the certainty that God is with you. You are no longer trying to figure things out on your own. Instead, you're learning to trust His guidance and rely on His strength. Each time you step into your purpose, you grow bolder, more assured of the path you're walking. You understand that as you move forward, you are never walking alone. Embracing your purpose with confidence also means trusting that God will provide everything you need. His strength is sufficient for every challenge, every moment of doubt, and every step toward your destiny. When you align with His will, you discover that there's nothing you can't accomplish, because His power is at work within you. As you continue embracing your purpose, you will begin to see the fruits of your labor. You will feel more fulfilled, more connected to your calling, and more empowered than ever before. With God's strength, you can move forward with confidence, knowing that His plan for you is unfolding exactly as it should. As you move forward with God's strength, your faith begins to grow in ways you never imagined. It becomes unstoppable. With each new challenge, you find yourself relying less on your own abilities and more on the power that comes from God alone. Philippians 4:13 doesn't just tell you that you can do all things. It assures you that nothing is impossible with God's strength propelling you forward. This unwavering faith is what will carry you through the hardest of times. It doesn't mean that challenges won't come. In fact, they might even increase. But now you face them with a confidence that is rooted in a deep trust in God's promises. You've experienced His faithfulness, and that strengthens your belief in His ability to help you overcome anything that comes your way. Every step you take, no matter how small, becomes an act of faith. You trust that even when things don't make sense, God's plan is still at work. The faith that comes from knowing you are supported by His power helps you persevere. Even when you don't have all the answers, you begin to understand that each step forward, no matter how uncertain, is a step toward something greater that God has prepared for you. As your faith grows stronger, you also find yourself becoming more resilient. You're able to face trials and hardships without giving in to fear or doubt. Instead, you move forward knowing that with God's strength you can endure anything. The faith you have in His ability to strengthen and sustain you empowers you to keep moving forward, no matter the obstacles in your path. With unstoppable faith, you become a living testimony of God's strength in action. As you face life's challenges and rise above them, you inspire others to do the same. Your faith becomes a beacon of hope, showing that with God, all things are possible, and that His strength will carry you through any storm.